Tell me, in our application, earlier we created, right? So this is a project. So from this project, these views you can use here. So read entities of your business object name, ZI underscore wrap underscore travel underscore 00. This is your business object. So I wanted to read some data from this business object, but that business object contains multiple entities within itself. So your business object name, ZI wrap travel 00. In that one, your root entity also same, because root entity name is the name of your business object, and other entity, child entity, ZI wrap booking underscore 00. You might have another child entity also within itself. ZI we didn't create, of course, but just think like that. Booking supplementary. I will give you that one as a task to you. You will have multiple views as such, and this is your root. This is your business object, and these are all your remaining entities, your parent and other entities. This is the structure of your current development. I mean, of your one of your development which you have already made. From your business object, if you wanted to read the data, either from this entity or this entity or this entity, from any entity, if you wanted to read some data, this is how we should write the code. Read entities of your business object, and then here we should write the name called entity. From which entity you wanted to read? You wanted to read one record from travel, or you wanted to read one record from booking, or you wanted to read one record from booking supplement. You can read anything. So I wanted to read some data from this entity, the entity name. These two names look the same, but you have to think the first one is the name of your business object, and this is the name of your root entity. ZI underscore wrap underscore travel underscore 00. So travel. From that entity, I'm reading the data. Entity name from value. So if you wanted to provide any key field value, you can provide that key field value there. So the key field is travel UUID. Let me take some value here. All fields also, all values also you can read it. Let me take travel UUID is equal to, let me take some value here. The database table. This is my database table. Let me take a copy. Just I copied some 16 character travel data. Control C. From values means where condition, where travel ID equal to this is the one, and that final result. So read command is having a one result. It is a keyword. That result we need to capture. One record is coming now, you need to capture into some structure variable. That structure you have to declare at the beginning. But we have inline declarations, right? So that inline declarations will automatically define that structure for you. So you can directly create of data. So that record I'm reading into my travel. Just some variable under travel. That result I'm reading into some variable. That variable if you have declared, you can take that name. If it is not, into V1 travel one. So we read the data. Entity ZI wrap travel 00. It is giving the warning because alias name we given. So that is a warning only. And because it is saying that, hey, you have created alias, but you are not using that alias. Is it? Where did I create? if you go to your behavior definition, the behavior definition, right? You see here for your root view, you have created one alias here. So this alias name you can use so that you don't require to use this complete technical name. So it is saying that you have alias name, but you are not using that. Why so? So okay, thanks for reminding me. We can say that, and we can use that alias also here. So you can use your entity name. This is nothing wrong. This one also will work, or else we can change that to travel, because this travel is indicating. So in my business object, but here you should not, guys. Here you should not. The business object name, you should use only the technical name, the original name of the business object only you should use. Here you cannot use the alias name. In place of entity, only you can use the alias name or you can use the entity name. So for example, if you are reading the data from booking, so JEDI RAP booking underscore 00. Also, I have given the entity name. If it is not the entity name, if it is not the full technical name, then you can get the data from booking also. Because booking is an alias name you already given for your the behavior definition for your interface view. You have given an alias name already called booking. This alias name will simplify our code. So here, first we will test with JEDI underscore RAP underscore travel underscore 00. Try to notice the difference here. This is the name of the business object. This is the name of the entity, your root entity or child entity, whichever entity. From value, if you wanted to provide any key fields, we can give that. That result data, you can capture into some structure variable. Any variable you can take. GS underscore travel. So one variable you are declaring. It is a single record, so structure variable I have taken JS into travel. This warning is showing is that hey, you can use an alias name also instead of the technical name. No problem. I will use it later. Let me display that data out. Right. That JS underscore travel data. I will try to display on my screen. That output data we will try to display. Team, I just said, understanding EML statements will take some time because this is completely new syntax. So, but slowly, once if you practice, that's why I'm explaining each and every line very clearly. Slowly, if you practice the four things, you will understand the logic, you will understand the pattern, and you can easily remember all these codes. Now, let us test this class. So this, check for errors. Activate this. Then we can test this application. Run as console application. So then we got the console output here. So that a travel ID, whatever I entered is came, but all the remaining fields from the database table, travel ID, agency ID, customer ID, those fields did not get picked up. It picked up the columns, but they're all showing the blank zero value. So only it picked up the travel ID field, because in the read statement, you should mention about what are all the fields also you wanted to read out. If you don't mention the fields, it will just simply read out only the key field value. So now we will enhance this query with more details here. So entity name. So here instead of, we tried this, right? Instead of this entity name, I told you we can use the alias name also, which we given in the behavior definition. What is alias name we given? For travel? JEDI booking, JEDI RAP travel 00? Travel. And here you can maintain fields. Fields is the addition. So what are all the fields you wanted to read from that entity? For example, I wanted to read some fields like agency ID. So key field anyhow will come. So I wanted to get agency ID and customer ID and travel ID. Let us mention the required fields you wanted to read. from the table. But when you are using actually fields, this from value will not work. You have to change this with value. Don't use from actually. This is better with value. With value, the key field with value means where condition, where travel ID equal to so and so. We do right now like that. So that result data we are capturing into one structure variable. But sometimes what will happen is like um, there may not be the system may not found any record. During that time, it will throw some error message also. That also we need to capture. We'll see that. So a couple of things we changed here. We have maintained entity travel, alias name we used, and what are all the fields you are trying to read out. We mentioned with value, that key field value. Activate it and run it as a console application. Now you see, I got travel ID, key field. Along with key field, travel ID I did not read, but I read agency ID data and I read customer ID data. I read customer ID. Earlier, those also came blank here, but now, as I mentioned, these are the fields I'm looking for. I got agency ID, customer ID. Other fields I did not mention, so I did not get the data because I'm not interested in that data. I did not read that one. So this is one variant. First we tried Control C. First we didn't mention. I'm just keeping both variants for you, so you can check out each. So in the first variant, I kept interface union directly. ZR I will 0. Okay, yeah. This one also worked out well for us. This is our first style we tried. I commented that. And this is the second style, right? Which we executed and we got the output. Suppose I don't want to mention each field separately. I wanted to read all the fields data from the table if I wanted. So let me copy this, Control C. Commented that. Third variant. So instead of you maintain each field separately, here you can write all fields. Activate it and execute it. So this time for the corresponding travel ID for the given key field value, I got travel ID, agency ID, customer ID, begin date, end date, booking fees, total price, currency code, description. So I got all the information, whatever is available in that business object. Here, business object, you're reading the data, entity, you're reading the data. See, these things are nothing but, see, in your normal ABAP report also, in your normal ABAP program also, if you read a data from a view, is the data coming from the view or coming from the table? For guess? In a normal report program, table only, because view never contain data on its own. In the program, it looks like view, but actually you're reading the data from the table. Similarly, here also, these business objects and these entities, all these are basically CDS views. Though you're reading the data from a CDS view, but literally it is picking the data from the corresponding database table. But we should not think like we are writing a command on the database table. It should always look like we are reading the data from your CDS views. This is how your read command will work out for fetching all the data. But at the same time, corresponding to this particular travel, I have booking details. My first travel is having some 4 5 bookings. I wanted to read the data from bookings also. So earlier you read the data from travel entity, but now for this travel ID, what are all the bookings available? I wanted to read that data. So that is called a read by association. So you are not giving the key field on the booking entity. You are giving the key field of travel only. But through the travel, you are trying to read the data of bookings belongs to that particular travel. There are 2 options. Directly, you can read the data from booking entity by giving the key field of booking table. But what actually I'm doing, I'm not reading the data from booking directly. I'm reading the data by using the key field of travel, but my travel knows what are all the bookings available. So that is called a read by association. So these 2 things will come to you. We call it like RBA and CBA. Read by association, and this is create by association. These 2 concepts will comes to us. We will discuss. So right now we are doing this read by association. How do we go to the program? So this is cloud variant V1. I mean variants, different variants I put in. I'm just typing as V2. Let me comment out this. Now I am trying the fourth one, read by association. Control C. Read entities of my route view. Entity travel, but here travel entity by, this is read by association. By your association name, you should write like this /_ booking. So let us read the data of bookings through travel. All fields with value, your travel UUID, same thing. And that data, because booking data I'm getting now. So let me get that booking data into this. There can be multiple bookings also, GT underscore bookings. This is just a variable which is getting declared here automatically by the data statement. I will tell you the corresponding data types, what internally system is using for creating these objects also, guys. So here let me write GT underscore. Let us see that. Activate it. Execute it. So here, for this particular travel ID, I have 12 bookings available. Booking ID. See, travel ID remains the same. For the given travel ID, this booking ID you ignore. This is the key field I given from the travel. I read the details about this particular travel. How many booking IDs are there? See, again, for each of these booking IDs, this booking UUID this value will be different. You see this one, all these values are different. These are all different primary keys. Of course, every booking will have a different booking UUID. This is the key field of the booking. If I use this, I will get only one entry. I don't want the data based on this one. All these booking UUIDs, these are all key fields. These are all different. This is not going to be used. I wanted to get the data of all the bookings made with the reference to this travel UUID. So I given the travel ID and I'm reading all the data. Entity travel by booking, by / booking association. That association name you have to mention here. Then you can able to get the details over here. Even the thing in this command, another variant also you can try. You can read the data from both entities also at the same time. Control C, Control V. Let me comment on this. This is a new variant. So read entities of your business object. Let me first read the data of only travel all fields. So this one I'm getting into LB underscore travel data. And similarly, I can write one more variant also here. Two entities also you can write at the same time. Entity travel by your association. Booking all fields.
First version, if we can we fetch the data of the booking table using the first version you told, where you wrote that read entities of this interface.
You can.
If
The
we
first variant in the first variant entity by from the booking.
Yes, exactly.
We have to provide the key field of the booking ID.
Okay. So
That is the key field.
okay, so using associations, the same thing can't we do with this method?
So if you use the key field on the booking table, how many records you will read? If you use the key field on the booking table, you will get only one record because with key field
Yes.
you will have only one record.
Okay.
But multiple records, if you wanted to read, belongs to
Then
the key
we
field of the travel, then you have to go for only read by association.
okay.
Right?
Okay, thank you.
Right. So like this, we can able to read the data from multiple entities also at the same time. Entity travel, same ID. That data I captured into LV underscore travel. Again, one more time, entity travel by association. Here entity travel by booking association. All fields with the same key field data, which I read into LV underscore booking. Then both data I'm displaying here at once. Activate it and then test your application, run as console application. So here I got both details. I got the travel data and all the bookings of the travel data. Both records got displayed at once. Clear the console here. Let's run it again, F9. Then we read the data about travel details first. We read the details about the travel ID, agency ID and everything. And belongs to that travel, all the related bookings also we have booking ID, booking date, customer ID, all these details also we read it from the table. So two records also, from two different entities also at a time you can read in this command called read entities of. There is other flavor, I said a shortcut read entity. At that time, you can get the data only from one entity. Two entities you cannot mention like this in the shorthand form. Shorthand form, anytime one entity only you can read. Multiple things if you wanted to read, you can go with read entities of. But sometimes what will happen is maybe this particular key field, with this particular given key field, you may not find any data in the table. So during that time, system cannot return anything. Even in our SAP ABAP program, we will get that output by using size sub RC. If size sub RC equal to 0, that means record found. If size sub RC is other than 0 means with your given where condition, the system not found any record in the table. So it won't show any error, but we will come to know whether that is successful reading or not, whether the operation successfully executed or not by querying the size sub RC. But here that that's not the case here. Here the system, if the data get read successfully, that result is a keyword actually. That result we are capturing into one variable. Similarly, the system can throw. The system will throw in case if there is any error happened, that failed information it will throw. Or if the system generates any pop-up message like a warning message or an error message, that error message also it will throw. That also we need to capture. Okay, we will check that out. We will check that out in a simple command here. So let me comment this code as always for your convenience. So read entities of your same table name, entity travel, all fields with some key field value. The result data we are capturing here. Along with result, the system will throw some other messages also. Number one, failed. That failed structure we have to capture. And in case if systems thrown any messages, that messages will comes under reported. So these are the additional structures also it can return back to you. So that failed data should not stop here. Failed. See, normally when you call a function module, importing parameters you will give, right? Finally, what it will give, it will throw export parameters. It will throw exceptions also. Possibilities there for throwing the export parameters or for throwing the exceptions also. When you call function module name, import parameters, yeah, you given. But what are the parameters you will get? It will have export parameters. It will have changing parameters. It will have exceptions. Any one of them will come to you, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Similarly here also, exporting parameter means reported data. Any exceptions, it will come to failed structure. If there are any messages generated by the framework, that message also will come to you so that you can display the same message to the user also. So if there are any failed data, that will come here. So that also you can declare a inline declaration. Let me capture all the failed data into some variable called LV underscore failed. In just some variable I'm create LV underscore failed. In case if there are any messages written by system, let me get LV underscore reported. Just to some local variables. LV underscore GS underscore travel or LV underscore travel, LV underscore failed, LV underscore reported. I'm getting that details into this corresponding structures. The read statement finally will return these three things. Result, failed, reported. Result failed reported. These are the three structures it will return. These two are optional. That's why I have not taken them the earlier variants, but we have taken the complete one. So in case if there is an message output, lets you display. But in case if there is a failed message, lets you display. Activate it. LB underscore failed. Okay, spelling mistake. Activate it. Run as console application. Let me clear the console. You will better. Right now, you will get the data. No doubt about that. Let me maximize this. So my reported data. So because we got the data, so all the field values are displayed here. But I have displayed the other two structures also. You see, failed data. In case if there is a failed information, then percentage CID, that content ID, travel ID, what is a failed code, and that code failed for create or update or delete, okay, or by association. So that information will get filled here in the failed structure. So this is the data format actually for your failed one. Right now, there is nothing, so it got. But in case if there is any message, if there is a message thrown by the system, then this kind of structure, just to show you that structure message I have given this one. If the data is found, data record will come. Your file structure is initial, message structure is also initial. We will try to check that with some other execution window here. Now let me give some different ID here. So 7333 like that. Oh, sorry. I changed in wrong place. Let us go to your code. So purposefully, let us put some wrong key field. Activate it. Clear the console. Test it again. So this time, your travel data is initial. Sorry. But the failed structure data comes. System not thrown any message. Okay, so your message structure is blank. System has not thrown any message. In certain exceptions happened or any terminated things happened, then in that cases you will get the message data. But right now you got the failed data. What is the failed reason? So for this travel ID, the failed reason, percentage failed, that information it is showing. It is showing that not found. Cause, what is the reason? Not found. The record not found for your given travel ID. Key field value came and the reason also came, that is called not found here, which is there in the internal field, one of the field called percentage fail. Okay, fail cause. The reason it is showing that not found is there. Okay, we can understand that the record is not found for this given key field value. If I change that key field again with the right one, then earlier things if we compare once again. So this time your travel data is filled up, but here this failed data, the failed structure is blank, reported structure also blank. Reported also there's no data, failed structure also there's no data, only the data is filled there in the reported structure. So these are the things: result, failed, reported. These variables actually we are declaring here inline, but instead of that, in your program, we can prepare them at beginning, right? There are some structures: data, GS underscore, travel to, for, there is a type table for create. There are some syntaxes about declaring the required variables also. I will cover that syntax. I will tell that standard types. But anyhow, we can go with the inline declarations also and the corresponding structure. Mostly we will follow this style only. We will automatically get created with the suitable data types. There are so many data types. Syntaxes are also different. That's why we will prefer to go with this inline declarations. Result data, failed data, reported data. Try to notice the difference between a result and a reported. Reported means error messages. So these are all different variants we can try out on your read statement guys. Let us check about other variants also, about create, about update, about delete, to execute different operations on the database tables that we'll see.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
So this,
I have one doubt. Like, what does this interface do if OOADT class run?
now this is basically having a method, main method, right? So when you run this application, it will directly execute that method. We are not calling any method or any application, right? Main method is one which is automatically triggered when you run the application. That's why this code is getting executed. Otherwise, your class, you have to create an instance, you have to call a method. That is how a class will work. A class cannot work directly. If you develop a class with some methods, can you execute the class directly? No, we cannot.
So it means like a main method in Java.
Java class, exactly. That's why here also it is given like main. So these are the read variants we tried. So let us try the other variants as well. Let me comment this out. So how do we modify one existing entity? We will see that. So for that one, we do use the command modify entity with the update edition. So read we tried. Now we will modify. So modify, update. So in that one, again, we will try the first variant. For modifications, this is the way we do it. Modify entities of your business object. Business object is JADA RAP travel underscore 00. and whichever entity we are modifying here. So entity, that entity's alias name we can use. Entity name also we can type, but we are typing the alias name, right? Entity travel. And earlier read command, now this time we are using the update command. So update also we can use in multiple ways. This is one way. Manually you can change the fields. Set fields with value. We have to pass on the key field and other key field values. So set fields with value of the key field value with value of your key field value. Sorry. Travel UUID is equal to, we'll provide that key field value 7003. And other field I wanted to change is something like, for example, description. For this first travel, I will change the description value. Description equal to, in the table, if you look at the table output, this is the first travel we changed, right? Travel ID 006. For that, what was the description is there? Description is there like vacation. Okay, so this description we wanted to update. Right now, it is there like, so my updated vacation is what is the value we are changing. So here also the response will come, but here result will not come. In case if it is failed or reported, that only will come. Because result is not something like here it is not about reading. It is only about, so your update may failed or successful. In case if it is failed, any messages may possibly return. So failed, that failed data, we can get into LV underscore failed. In case if there is any message reported, then on that reported data you can get into LV underscore reported. That's it. Result data will not be the outcome here. And it's successful. Because just you can check if LV underscore failed is not initial, then you can display this message. All that if conditions will check the, but we captured that output rate update successful. Let us activate this code about the modify update command and test this application. Run as console application. We got the message update successfully here. And if you go and check it in the database table, here is the table. This is the table content. Let us click on the refresh icon because this is old content. Still description is there like vacation, but this description should get updated. Let us click on this refresh icon for the table content update. So in 003 travel UUID, description, vacation, not updating. Modify entities of business object entity travel update set fields with value, travel UUID, and description DES CRI PTI VN description is a new description because commit entities is missing. Because the changes to get reflect in the system, we need to execute that commit entities also. COMMIT commit entities. Activate it. Test the application again. Run as console application. Update successful. Let us go and see the table content. The table content earlier it was vacation. Now if I click on this refresh icon, no, that entry gone somewhere. That is not the key field entry. Our entry, let me display that in the sorting order. So this travel ID of 6 data I have taken. So that key field if I see, yeah. So here is the description. My updated vacation. So this got updated. So that entry went to a sorting order changed here. So again, I displayed the data in the travel order. So travel ID 06, this is the key field earlier I taken. So this key field is different, this key field is different, okay? So for this key field, the record I have updated. And here, the description got changed to my updated vacation. VSCATION. Maybe in the program I given like that. Yeah, and also given. Let me change to only one C. Once again, let me run the code, activate it, run as above console application, update successful. If I go back to table content and refresh the content, you will see description correctly given. Vacation spelling also got updated. Like that, multiple fields values also we can change here. And the missing thing is like a updation. Even sometimes during the updation also that may get failed. Okay, so I mean during the commit statement also there is a possibility that it may throw some error. So we can write commit entities directly if you are very sure about that. Otherwise, this commit entities you can write like this also. Commit entities, commit rollback entities also the opposite command here. Commit entities in case if the response of your travel object ZA RAP travel underscore 00. In case if commit failed that failed data, you can capture into LV commit failed variable name, or if there is any message that is reported, that message also you can capture LV commit reported. These variable names up to you, your choice team, however you wanted. But commit statement, full syntax, you can write like this. Commit entities, response of your business object name into failed data and reported data. Also, we can get to, maybe if you are not sure, like updation is successful, but during the commit time, in case if it got failed, that one also we can capture. Otherwise, the variant is commit entities. Simply you can write in that way also. Now, in the similar way, let us see how do we create a new entity in the system. Control C. Control V. This one I will comment it. modify, create. So we wanted to create a new entry, right? So modify entities of your business object, entity travel. So instead of update command, here we should use create command. Create and create by association, both will come. Create, set fields with value. So you have to pass some key field value, key field for travel ID and all the remaining field values. But you know that in this business object, this is a managed scenario based business object. Behavior definition is already there. In that one, we already maintained yesterday that travel UUID is automatically generated by the system. So we don't require to provide that value. We need to provide the remaining field values only, whichever you wanted to fill. Control chart. So I don't require it to provide my travel ID because this value anyhow will get generated. So in this table, so travel ID anyhow will get generated. So I can provide a travel ID, agency ID, customer ID, begin date, end date, and these values. So let me go here. Other fields like travel ID equal to 902. Agency ID. Travel ID next to agency ID. Let me take some of the valid values. Agency ID 07. This is the one we have. Control C. Customer ID. So entity fields, not table fields. Travel ID. Agency. Customer ID. Begin date. You can provide some date, or else you can use one of the standard, utility classes CL underscore ABAP underscore context info. This is a utility class for reading some system variables. So let me get like a get system date. If this is a class method to return the system data. Similarly, end date. Is equal to, again, say CL above context info, get system date, get system date, plus 5. Next to 5 days, I'm adding as the end date, system date plus 5, and some description, my new vacation. So some of the fields I fill, but for creation of a new record, when you are creating key field value, you are not giving. Even in your application also, if you go to create option, you are filling all these fields, agency ID, begin date, end date, and all these fields you are filling, but this travel UUID is automatically generating by the system. We know that. But from the program, when you are doing that, there is one derived field that is called %CID, content ID. So this content ID is going to behave like a temporary key field value for creation of this travel. Because key field value you should pass, but key field value will get generated by the runtime before the entry is getting saved in the table. Yeah, key field definitely will get generated. You are not providing the key field value, but which is generating by the system just before the entry getting saved. But until then, to process this record and to uniquely identify this record, a temporary key field value you should pass. That we do pass in the parameter called percentage CID. So this percentage fields are indicating that these are all the additional derived data type fields. So these are all basically some kind of helping fields. We do use percentage takeaway, percentage data, percentage control, percentage CID underscore reference. This type of fields we do use. So just the percentage symbol is indicating that those are internally, implicitly available fields for some of the operations to easily manage. So here, during the creation time, the key field value will get generated at a later stage. So you must pass a temporary key field value, a unique key field value. So let me give here percentage CID equal to anything, just to identify this particular travel, like one, or just some unique record for this data to be taken. So new travel. T001. This value will not stored in the table, but this will, like my first travel T001 as I given. So any text you can give as a key field value and all these fields. So finally, when the data is getting saved in the system, that time the system will generate a key field value for this travel UUID. See, CID is not there here. CID is not there in the table also. Go and see in the table. In the table also you have only travel UUID and travel ID. This is a manual field. We are entering, I given now 902 value because earlier I have created one entry with 901. So that's why I given 902 as a new value right now. And this is automatically generating. But until then, system will use this particular CID as a key field. Once it is generated, this will be discarded. It is a temporary field, we can say. And create command, like read command, given us three things: result, failed, reported. Similar way, create and modify command, create and updates command will give us mapped, failed, and reported. These are the three things will come here. Mapped, failed, and reported. These are the three possible outcomes of the create command. So for this temporary key field, whatever the temporary key field value you given, for that, what is the actual key field generated? That combination for this temporary key field you given, this is the real key field value generated. That two combinations will comes in this structure called mapped. As usual, if there is any failed, that failed data will come. If there are any messages, that messages data will come. So here, mapped also will capture into mapped of data LV underscore mapped. You can declare somewhere LV mapped, LV failed, LV reported. And here we can say finally creation successful. In case if LV underscore failed is not initial, just so you can write some if condition to check is it empty or not, then finally. But you have to execute that commit entities also. Commit entities again the same thing. Commit entities response of our travel business object. In case if there is any commit failure, or in case if there is any reporting message during the commit time, those things will come here. Those things we can display here. For the command remains the same. Using the create, whatever the fields you are setting, set fields with value, all the new field values you can provide. But most important thing is for forwarding some temporary key field in the name of percentage CID called content ID. Let us activate this code. The same code internally is running in the managed scenario also. When you fill all these fields and when you click on create button, the same thing, whatever you entered here on all these fields, all these values are taken. So temporary CID generated by system. This travel UUID will generated at the end of the saving, before the saving, and a new entry is getting saved into the table. Same code, internally there in the framework. Now the same thing we are testing here manually. Activate it. Let me test this application. Creation successful. We got it. Let us go and check it in the table. So if we go to table and refresh the table, see the records in the reverse order. Yeah. So this is a new entry 902. We given now. Sorry. Here in the code, this is what I given now. 902. 902 and with all these details. So a new record is created with the travel ID 902. This travel UUID is generated by system. Same agency ID, same customer ID. Begin date is today, July 10th, because I taken the system date and system date plus 5. Next 5 days is I have taken as end date. So 10, today is 10 plus 5 means 15. 15th July as an end date. And remaining fields I did not fill, booking fee, total price and all, but the description again I given. My new vacation. That is a description we given here. My new vacation. So with that description, with that given fields, remaining fields are blank values. So one new entry got created here in your table. That is how your modify create statement along with the commit entities will work. If you don't write commit entities, your save will not get persisted into the table.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
Even whatever is actually really got into this map, if you wanted to see, let us display that information also here. After creation successful, let us display that value. Out, right? In the mapped stuff, your variable is LV mapped, right? In LV mapped, there will be one, your entity names will come. All the entity names will come. So here travel entity I wanted to display. That means here you given some temporary key field. So let's create one more new travel 903. Same agency ID, same customer ID. My new vacation 2 description I changed. So here plus 10 I will put it. So I'm creating another entry, guys. Here CID is the same, no problem, because this is again second run. For this run, this is a unique value only. So same way, if I am doing 2 sets of values, set fields again 2 sets if I'm giving, then I cannot give same content ID equally for 2 times. Right now I'm creating only one record. For this one, this content ID is a unique. Through the program, sometimes we'll create parallel records also at the same time. At that time, we should pass 2 different CID fields. So CID, new travel ID 903, agency ID, customer ID, today date plus 10, new vacation 2. If it is successfully created, we are getting this LV underscore mapped, right? So I wanted to see what is really there in this LV underscore mapped. Okay, let me change this one also. What's wrong in that? I just wanted to see under LV mapped, your entities, travel entity and booking entity are there as part of this component. You will see that. So creation successful. Now you see after creation successful, your percentage CID. For that, what is the corresponding travel ID? So percentage CID you given T002 temporarily. For this one, what is the new key field generated in that new key field value? Exactly with this key field only, the new entry got saved in the table. Now you go and see in the table, go to table, the table, click on refresh. Now a new entry created 903. So 10th is the begin date, 20 is the end date, 10 plus 10, 20. And the new vacation 2. Description is a new vacation 2, the field description. And this is the key field that is generated by system. In fact, we got that from the mapper. For your temporarily provided key field, what is the actual key field generated? Those details you will come to know by tracing this variable. It is a structure variable actually. Under the structure variable, your entity will come, travel entity, booking entity. If you display the travel data, these are the two fields in that travel structure are there. Through debugging, you will come to know more information about these things too. We can do create by association also. That means I wanted to create a travel. Along with travel, I wanted to create one booking also. So one travel and one booking, both should get created at the same time. I'm passing the details for a travel. I'm passing the details for a booking. Let the system generate a travel along with one booking within it. So you have to pass create a travel by association, create by association. So that variant also we will see. But before that, let us try the delete command also quickly once. So this is modify command. Control C, comment it out. Control V. Actually, for delete this much is not required. Just keep it enough. This much of story not required. Modify entities of your root element, entity travel. Here it is delete. The operation will be delete. Delete from value. With value also you can use. So from value is one addition. That key field value you can pass. Travel. UUID. For example, just before only we created one 903 travel date. That key field is there with me. That one only I will pass to delete that entry. And so this is also, there's no result. Only possibilities are failed and reported. So let me capture failed data. If there is any failed, that failed data into LV underscore failed. Normally we should take it like a structure. So, and reported in case if there is any reported data, that reported data I will capture into commit entities and everything are same. After the successful commit, let me write So earlier in my table, the travel ID 903 is there. Now that should make us, by using this key field, this record we wanted to delete. So go back to your program. Console application. Yeah, I got the message, record deleted. So let us go to your table and refresh your table content. Now 903, travel ID 903 undeleted. Hey guys, this one I'm using for easily to say. This is not actually key field. Travel ID is not key field. This is the key field. Okay, this travel UUID only we have to pass. Key field value we have to pass. So just to show that easy readable number, we are taking this travel ID. This is not a key field. If you give another record with 903 also, it will create. If you try to create a new record again and again with same travel ID also, it will create, because this is not a key field. This is just some easy reference field. This is only the key field in the travel table. So record got deleted. So like this, we can, this is just only one sample variants only about read, about update. But this is the core EML statement. So just only thing is that here and there, some small differences will come. Nothing but some different variants will come in these commands about some shortened operands and all. Other than that, this is how EML statement works, and this concept is mandatory for doing our unmanaged scenario application developments, because by using this way only, we are going to write the code for creating a new entry, for updating an entry, for deleting entry, because that code will not get generated automatically as like your managed scenario. So we will be using this EML statements only for doing all that unmanaged operations.
The one which you showed, right, the read entity and the update entity, delete entity. So where I can see this, the code in the managed service. If I wanted to see this kind of code, where I can see that?
Good question. We can keep a debugger point and we can see that. Directly we cannot see, but we can place a debugger point and we can say, I will show you that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. So you can practice this command string. I will share that file with you. And after that, let me clear my console. So this is a separate application we have created, right? I mean, a separate class we created for learning EML statements by using your existing business objects, because these are also global objects. Your business object, your interface views, these are all global objects, G objects only. That's why those objects I have used in my another G class. That is an independent class. That is not part of this project. You can create in a separate package also. You can go for a separate package. You can create a separate class. There also you can test all these variants. Okay. So let me cover a few more things. Here, yesterday we have created our behavior definition, right? So let us go and learn some more things within our behavior definition. Let me go to behavior definition. So in the behavior definition, this is called feature control. The concept we are talking is about feature control. There are two types of feature control. Feature control is all about controlling the nature of your elements. Controlling the nature of your elements is called feature control concept we call in RAP programming. So some of the fields I wanted to make like mandatory fields. Some of the fields I wanted to make only read-only fields. Some of the fields I wanted to make like auto-generated fields. So this is all we are going to do in your behavior definition at your element level. So that is actually called a static feature control. Because statically, that means directly in the code itself, you are writing the code, what fields to be mandatory, what fields to be read-only, just like that. But dynamic feature control also we can do. That is nothing but when I see the output, when I see some data output right? So here for this record, I don't want to delete button to activate. Some records I don't want delete button to work. So those records, whichever is created in the year 2024, okay, delete should not work. I wanted delete should work only for other records earlier years. 2024 record should not get deleted. Or else I will create some more custom action buttons here, like approve some travel or reject some travel. Right now we are getting these are the actions: create, edit, delete automatically by the framework. We can add custom action buttons also, and you can program those buttons according to your requirement. So sometimes that button should enable, sometimes that button should disable, depend on the depend on my entry details. For example, this particular travel, if I see the travel status. So my travel status is showing like A. Okay, if it is approved travel, if it is already A for approved, if it is an approved travel, then again I don't want approve reject buttons to get work because it is already approved. Only a new travel only either I should approve or I should reject. But already it is approved. Then again there is no point of doing approve or reject for that particular travel record. So in that case, I don't want the buttons to get activate. The buttons will still remain deactivate only. But one of the new travel still that is not approved, then I wanted that buttons to work out. That one also we can decide. So that nature is deciding dynamically at runtime. Depend on your content information, they are behaving and they are adjusting themselves. That is called a dynamic feature control. Static feature control means directly you're writing in the code. Dynamic feature control means the behavior is changing at runtime based on the content information. So those things we can do right in your behavior definition about static feature control, about dynamic feature control also. Let us understand some of such kind of behavior control information. The first thing is we have already made one of the field as a read-only field. Yesterday, travel UUID we made as a read-only field. Because of that only, when I go for create, this is not coming like an editable field. All other fields coming editable, but this is not coming to me because we made a travel ID as a editable field. Similar way, I wanted to generate, suppose this travel ID. This field also I don't want it to enter some value by user. This one also I want read only. And my total price should get generated automatically. So I don't want this one also to come for editable while creating. And overall status also, I don't want come editable. These fields let the code will handle. So if you wanted that, first of all, these three fields should not come in the edit mode while creating or updating. How do I change that? So here, same like yesterday. Let us do that one. Field, read only. Field read only. Which fields I told you to make it read only? My travel ID field. My travel ID field should be read only. Comma. The total price also I wanted read only. Comma. What is the field? Travel status. My travel status also should be read only. Yeah. Let me activate this. This is called static feature control. Directly in the code, through the code, you are fixing that nature. Always they are read only. Activate this. Go back, come back here, refresh my application. No. So when I go to create a new entry, create. Now this time you see my travel ID become read only. So I cannot enter any value. My total price also become read only. I cannot enter. Overall status also, I make it read only. So these three fields, we made it read only. So we have to handle that through coding to generate that values. Remaining fields only customer will enter. And this is anyhow automatically generating we given. But how do we calculate this travel ID, total price, and overall status? We'll write the code for that. But read only is working out there. Similarly, some other fields also about these fields created by, create date, last changed by, last change date. So right now we are not displaying, but user anytime can add that fields also. So I will make those fields also like read only because those fields also I wanted to fill automatically by runtime. So last changed at last changed by created at created by local last changed. Those fields also I have made as read-only fields. So even customer added those fields to their output screen, still even that will not alert the user to make any entries. We can do that. This is one type of feature control. And second thing, on my output screen, I wanted the user to identify this agency ID and customer ID to be like mandatory fields. Some red color asterisk mark will come. So that indicates that these two fields are mandatory fields. You must enter some values. If you wanted to mark some fields as mandatory fields, this is the addition. Field mandatory. Which fields you wanted to make mandatory? I wanted to make agency ID, comma, customer ID to become mandatory. Now you see, activate the changes. Go to your application, refresh. Let me go for entries, not here. Let me go for create. Now you see my agency ID is marked with the asterisk mark. My customer ID also marked with the asterisk mark, red color asterisk mark, indicating that these two are the mandatory fields. But of course, it is just to only make that indication. The system will not actually check whether value is filled or not. You only have to check that one. So that is not at there. It is just only marking the fields as mandatory, but really values entered or not, that validation not taking place automatically. But we ourselves will write the code for handling that mandatory check. Similarly, we can write some custom action buttons also in our RAP applications. So if you wanted to write some custom buttons, so buttons means actions. For performing actions, we need buttons, right? So if you wanted to do some custom actions other than create, update, and delete, then we do write that with the action buttons. Action. Actions we do write in two variants, instance and global. I will talk about that later. So here this is the syntax to follow. Action, features, instance, action name, result 1 cell. Similarly, let me run action. See, nothing but features instance, feature global, you will write. Feature instance means whenever so that action, feature instance means it is instance based action. That means record based action. Only when I selected that entry, that time only that button will work. If I don't select that, see why delete is actually not enabling here, because you did not select any record here. At least if you select one instance means one record. If you select one instance, that button will start work. Otherwise, it will not. That is called instance. But this is global action. So whether you select a record or not, no matter, it will work, because this is not depend on these instances. This action is not relevant to these instances, these records. But delete is relevant to these instances. Delete should work only when I select at least one instance. Otherwise, no. Exactly. That is how we are writing here. Features instance, features global. If you put that button, always will come active. That means ready to do some action, irrespective whether you select any entry or not. Here in this case, accept a travel or reject a travel. I wanted, only upon one instance. I will select one entry, then I will go for either accept a travel or reject a travel. So they should definitely get created as instance specific actions only. Accept a travel, then reject a travel, result. These are the two actions I have created. What is this? Accept a travel not implemented, reject a travel not implemented. No problem, because these actions we need to implement in this behavior definition class. We will do that, because these are custom actions. For create or update or delete, code is already there. But for these custom actions, where is the code? So for this accept a travel, one method will come. For a reject a travel, one method will come. We should write the relevant coding in that methods. For that, it is showing that warnings. That's okay. Activate this. Go back to your application. Refresh. It will not come right now, because we need to add that UI annotations also. Actions are created, actions are there, but we are not able to see that buttons here, because that UI annotation is missing. If we add the UI annotation, then we can able to see that buttons as well. Similarly, we'll write the code, guys. Similarly, as like actions will represented as buttons. We have another concept called determinations also. Determination. See, the name is indicating determining some value, finding out some value. Set initial status on modify create. So during the create time, this will work. This determination will work. Similarly, determination, calculate total price on modify create. Input parameters. So these determinations are some methods which will automatically executed when the corresponding action is happening. So during the create, when the user go for when the user click on this create button, during that time, I wanted this determination to run, set initial status. So in this will going to create as a method in this class. In that method, I will write some code. Automatically, I will fill. So when I go for create this overall status, I wanted to automatically fill this overall status as O, because this is a fresh travel. I wanted this value to get created like O, travel status O. I wanted to fill this value during the creation time. For that, the required logic I will write in this determination. Determining, finding, calculating the value. Similarly, during the modify time, like modify means during the create time or update time, both for create and update on any modify command, I wanted to calculate the total price. Total price also be disabled. So I wanted to find the total price based on my booking fees and the currency code. So these two fields we passed as input. Based on that input, we will calculate the total price and we will save that. And also calculate the travel ID. So right now in my table, in my system table, you see the latest travel ID is created like 902. So my next travel should get created as 903. I wanted to get the latest travel ID from the table. I wanted to add +1, and that new travel ID I wanted to set up for this field. But that one I don't want on my screen immediately when I come here 903. I don't want it to see here, because in between some other users might create some other travels also. So 903, 905, 905 already taken. So still if my application get created with 904, that won't sounds good. That's why I wanted this particular determination, that is calculate the new travel ID to execute before the saving, at the time of saving. That's why we wrote that code here.
Our comprehensive student metrics ensure top-notch learning experiences. We track engagement through attendance, participation, and video interactions. Performance is measured via quiz scores and assignment submissions. We monitor learning behaviors, including time spent and revisit patterns. Our metrics cover social learning, course completion rates, and even post-course success. With technical data on platform usage and device information, we optimize every aspect of your learning journey.
So this determination has to run on save. During the saving time, it will just pick the latest travel ID from the table, +1 it will add. Of course, we are going to write that logic. We are going to read the latest travel ID and we will add +1, that value we will write. So for all these determinations. So actions and determinations both are same thing, guys. These are also methods. These are also methods in your behavior pool class. But the only thing is, action means when the user executes some action, when the user performs some handmade action, then that will run. So it is based on buttons. If user performs, it will happen. If not, no. Determinations are not like that. Determinations are methods which will automatically execute at the specified timing. You said now, when you go to create, at that time you wanted this initial status to set up. When you go to any modify command, you wanted to calculate the total price. During the saving time, this method will run. So like that, all these determination methods will get executed. And along with that, we do write some validations also. So actions we discussed, determinations we discussed, and third one is validation. So validation is something which will automatically happen when you go to some new field. Suppose agency ID. Suppose I entered start date and end date. But definitely my end date should be latest date than the start date. End date should not be the older date, isn't it? Latest end date always should be later than the start date. In case by mistake, if I given end date as lower than my start date, definitely it is a wrong input. So I wanted to validate that. I wanted to validate whether that field value is correctly entered or not. If the validation fails, I wanted to show some message on the screen. Mostly validations we will do on the save basis. During the save time, we do write the validation. So to check the field content information, whether it is correctly maintained or not, we'll write the logic for that. We can show some messages to the user. So how do we do write that validation? Validation. Let me validate some agency, because here my end customer is of course going with the agency ID, and is choosing some agency ID, and he is choosing some customer ID. But sometimes here it is a free text also. So 99999. This is the customer ID he entered, but there is no such customer existed in our table. So when you go for create, I wanted to validate is the same, because these are input fields. Definitely user will go with the F4 help also, or user will go with some typing of the values also. If the given input is wrongly entered, I wanted to validate and show that. It is not called determination, it is called validation. How do we include validations in our behavior definition? Validation is a keyword. Validate agency. We need to write the code, guys. So this is a managed scenario, but all these things will not work out automatically. So though it is a managed scenario, managed only for create, update, delete, and the lockings. Remaining things we will write the code. Validate agency on save for the field agency ID during creation. Validation. Validate customer on save for the field customer ID while create. Customer ID. So these things, all these things will get generated in your behavioral pool class. Then you will write the code for all of them. Then let us go to your behavioral pool class. Select that. Press Ctrl 1. See, we got the message. Do you want to add all 9 missing methods of entity ZARAP 00 in the local handler class? See, there are 9 methods to be created in your behavioral pool class, because you created 3 validations, 3 determinations, actions. So do you want to add the required methods for all these things? Let us click on that. Then automatically your behavioral pool class get loaded with all the methods. You see, methods accept travel, methods reject travel, methods calculate total price, set initial status, set travel ID. Similarly, validations. Okay, and here also we can understand for determine, for validate, and for modify, here for action. So that even methods also indicating that is it an action method, is it a determine method, or is it a validate method. Accordingly only that syntax is arrived here. Now in these methods, we will be writing the required coding for handling all these operations. So for now, what we did, we didn't do anything in the behavioral pool class, only the behavior definition I have modified. The behavior definition we modified and the methods got added. Then activate this class. Similarly, what are the actions, what are the determinations you wanted to have for your booking also, you can write here. Under the booking behavior, we can write the additional actions and methods for booking also. We will add some of the things like this. So this is called feature control. These are called custom actions, custom determinations, custom validations. Yeah, because methods are generated, but we haven't written the code for that. We will do that.